Hi, welcome to Growth Club, the YouTube channel that is dedicated to helping entrepreneurs start, grow, and scale their businesses. Today, we are going to be talking about corporate governance and how you can incorporate corporate governance in your SME. My name is Usman, and I am your Growth Club. When people talk about corporate governance, in most cases, they are talking about big corporates and established organizations with complicated structure. But it's not always so. Corporate governance is important in any commercial or corporate entity. It's just that, its importance is at different levels. The importance is more pronounced in the big corporates, but doesn't necessarily mean that, it is ignored in small businesses. So what exactly is corporate governance? So corporate governance refers to the system of rules, practices, and processes by which a company is directed and controlled. It encompasses the mechanisms through which companies, particularly their board of directors, are held accountable to shareholders and to other stakeholders for the company's performance, strategy, and decision making. The truth is, corporate governance is equally important for SMEs as it is for big corporates, and I'll tell you why. So, like the definition, corporate governance is just a set of rules that guide the way an organization operates. So, all your processes, your procedures, how you take decisions, how you hold people accountable is important so that people don't just wake up and take emotional and baseless decisions for the business. It is important because when everything is standardized and there are set rules that you follow in running the business, it preserves the business and ensures that you don't just go out and take risks that are not calculated. Corporate governance is to a business the way rules and laws are important to the proper functioning of a society. Imagine that we have a country where there's just total lawlessness. There are no rules and regulations that people need to follow. There are no rules and regulations that are laid down for people to follow. It's the same thing with a business. When there's no proper corporate governance structures, the company is not able, the longevity of that company is threatened. And before you know anything, it starts to impact on its operations, on its profitability, and on its survival. So most times, SMEs lack the resources to implement proper corporate governance structures, which is why you have cases of poor decision making, uncalculated risk, poor structures, and then in some cases it leads to poor controls and even fraud. As an SME, it's important that from the onset you implement proper corporate governance in your business. This will help you, run your business effectively. It will help you, it will put proper structure in your business. It even helps you to build your brand, because when your processes are documented and you follow them as you should, there's a consistency in your outputs. It also gives investors confidence, and I think that this is the most important part. It gives investors confidence to invest in your business. It's, without corporate governance, it is almost impossible for you to scale, because you need those controls to be in place. Because by the time you start to scale, a lot of things are happening geometrically, and if you don't have controls in place, it's easier for you to crash and burn. So what are the steps that you need to put in place to have proper corporate governance in an SME? Let's go. So the first step is to develop a corporate governance framework, and this is just a framework that outlines the governance principles and practices you want to follow as an SME. This framework should be tailored to the size of your company and the complexity of your company, and it should address issues such as board composition. The second thing is to appoint a board of directors. Your board of directors who will oversee the management of the company and ensure that it is aligned with the corporate governance framework. The board is essentially to hold you accountable to the corporate governance framework that you have put in place. The board should be composed of individuals with diverse skills and expertise who are committed to acting in the best interest of your company. The third is to establish board committees. This is to ensure effective oversight. The board should, you should have specific committees to address specific areas of governance, such as audit, compensation, and nominating. The committees should be composed of board members and outside experts with relevant experience. The fourth is to develop policies and procedures. Now, the board should develop policies and procedures that provide guidance on key governance issues such as conflict of interest, insider trading, and ethical behaviors. These policies should be communicated to all employees and stakeholders and regularly reviewed and updated. Now, the fifth is to conduct regular board evaluations. This is to ensure that the board is functioning effectively. It should conduct regular evaluations of its performance and effectiveness. These evaluations should include an assessment of the board's composition, its decision-making process, and its adherence to the corporate governance framework. Then the sixth is to monitor and report on governance practices. The board should monitor and report on the company's governance practices to stakeholders, including investors, customers, and employees. This reporting should be transparent and should provide a clear picture of the company's governance practices and performances. If you are like me, especially when I started, most of the 6 things that I just said sound like Latin. It's a bit up there. Now, let me give you a little expo. You might not be able to do everything as an SME, as a startup, but there are a couple of things that you can put in place to ensure that at least there's consistency in what you do, and that you are building frameworks that will ensure the continuity of your business. Now, you need to document your processes and procedures, right? How your business runs, from your operations to your marketing to your production to everything in between. Make sure you have process documents. Then you can start to have policies as it has to do with recruitment, with sales. There'll be policies that staff conduct and all. You can look for a professional to help you do this. Now, the next thing is to have meetings and keep minutes of those meetings. So you have management meetings with your sales team or your production team or your marketing team, whatever senior team that you have. You must make sure that you hold regular meetings and you take meetings and document the minutes of those meetings. At the minimum, when an investor comes or people that you need to present some form of corporate governance to, when they see these things, they might look at you and say, okay, this is a small business. They are not there yet, but they are showing signs that, these are things that they will do as they evolve. Now, it is important to have a board, and it's really not that deep, You can have an advisory board if you cannot have a proper board. Your board could be your mentor and a couple of people that you speak to when it comes to your business, people that you seek counsel from, people that are experienced, and that are in your corner rooting for you. So, you can set up an advisory board. You can have some form of agreement. You might not be able to pay them if you are starting, but you might have some form of agreement that can keep them coming. A lot of people at that level are always impressed by people that are starting and are willing to support. So you can take advantage of that, especially if you are of good character and you have people that can speak of you. You create your advisory board, you make sure you have management meetings, you put your process documents in place, make sure that your financials, you have records, you are able to separate the business's money from your money. You don't spend directly from the business's purse. Put yourself on a salary so that you earn money at the end of the month for your personal spending. If you cannot afford to pay yourself a salary, put a commission structure on your product so that it drives you to sell for the company, and when you sell, you make a commission. But whatever you do, make sure that you are able to separate the business money from your personal money. This is one very key red flag when it comes to corporate governance and when you are being audited. If you can put these things in place, you might not be able to do the kind of corporate governance that big companies have done, but anybody that comes to look at your business, that wants to do big things with you, will know that you have taken the step in the right. So you might not be able to put in the kind of corporate governance structures that the big established corporates are putting, But if you are able to take these simple steps, you'll be able to demonstrate to any investor or anybody that is trying to take your business seriously that you do have corporate governance in your radar, and that when you scale, you'll be able to do it properly. So that brings us to the end of today's video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, further learnings, and if there's anything that I've missed or you have contrary views, please feel free to immerse yourself in our comment section. And if you don't already have a corporate governance structure, let us know which of the tips that you'll be implementing immediately. If you found this video useful, please make sure you subscribe, like, and share with your contacts. Support our YouTube channel to grow. Until I meet you in the next one, this has been Growth Plug. Start, grow, scale.